What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy in line, Therein Prince, coming to you again. Once again, this 2020 year. I just want people to know that I'm aware of people's circumstances, whatever the case may be. Everybody's at home. Everybody's chilling. Some people have been at home. Shit, we ain't gotta sit here in front. Some people have been chilling. And what I want to do today, without further ado, is because I know that this is a time when the tax information is the most imperative. I want to kind of stick with the tax matter. I want to kind of stick with what's important on issues of tax, issues of revocation of election, requests for concurrence, and to update your status as taxpayer. See, this is the thing that people didn't know about the Form 56 yesteryear. See, the thing about the Form 56 yesteryear is if you didn't have this form attached to it, or you didn't have these forms, so to speak, attached to it, then for the most part, it wouldn't be beneficial to you. And it sucks because I never got to that point. But I made a statement to talk about the revocation of election, but a lot of people, like I said before, they took the premise and they ran away with it, and they used it for deceitful purposes. But yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I care less not. This is coming from Title 26 Code of Federal Regulations 1.871-10. And this is a notification of election request for concurrence to update taxpayer status. Now, if people who want to engage in these processes need to learn one thing. If you don't wish to switch your taxpayer status, then this doesn't apply to you. Why do I say that? Because it doesn't apply to you because you still wish to pay taxes, which of course is your thing. You can totally do that. That is fine if you want to do that. But people who wish to switch their taxpayer status in regards to the legal process, which is provided by, quote unquote, the federal government in its capacity, this is how you do it. And it requires a detailed statement and a memorandum of law, including the, specificity of why you want to actually revoke your election. Now, me, myself, I did this years ago, years ago. And I know that it works because for the simple fact of the matter is that on the record, to this day, I can prove I don't pay taxes. Legitimately. And for good reason. But neither here nor there. This is a more detailed explanation. And it takes a lot of legal competence in regards to this, but I'm just going to give a hint on how I basically comprise this documentation in my own form and fashion, and with my own research and my own particular contemplation of law in regards to what the tax matter is. See, I'm not a tax protester, so nobody can get me on that angle because I don't do that. That's never been my angle. And secondly, if I know something in regards to how something works and how I should go about doing it, then I'm going to go about the way about doing it because that's what competent legal adults do in regards to their stances, actually handling their legal affairs to power of attorney in fact. So without further ado, let's go into this. This was something that years ago I sent to the Internal Revenue District Director. It's notarized. That's a proven fact. It has a notary seal on it. And it's a legal documentation. Like I said, I comprise myself. And this is what I put on the form myself. And just to give you a hint, because like I said before, I noticed that there are people who sit on these channels and they have way too much time on their hands. And they look up a way to concoct and scheme ways to trick and mislead people out of their valuable ends, especially at this time in this instance. But needless to say, it says in accordance with Code of Federal Regulation, subsection 1871-10, Section D, Section 2, subsection 3, this letter is being submitted in pursuit of revocation of election to treat any and all of my income and assets as a non-resident alien from being considered by the IRS as effectively connected with a trade or business in the United States. We talked about that earlier. As defined in 26 United States Code, subsection 864, subsection B. Information about myself in fulfillment with the above Code of Federal Regulation is as follows. Now, all my personal information I entered, but one point that I put in, I emphasized on, was the grounds for the request. It's more so my constitutional, lowercase c, right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, which is property, privacy, respect to the fruits of my common right labors under common law, and the right to own and control property, including labor and the fruits of my labor, without any interference from government or the requirement to report, account for such income or assets on such property. That was the grounds that were stated. This letter is by no means an admission in any way that I ever made an election to treat any of my income or assets as effectively connected with the trade or business of the United States, but instead is submitted to ensure that my status is properly reflected in your records and that you do indeed concur with in respect to this notification request for your concurrence. I do not now, nor have I ever lived in the United States as defined by Title 26 United States Code Section 7701, nor do I have any intentions of doing so in the future. I am sorry if I ever gave you that idea that I did, for instance, mistakenly filing an IRS 1040 in the past, which was the incorrect form. The correct form is and always has been the 1040 in our form. Please note that I already have an IRS form W-8 on file with my employer, and I have actually accurately declared myself to be a non-resident alien. I reside outside the foreign jurisdiction to which the Internal Revenue Code (IRC) operates, which is the District of Columbia and the Federal Territories. Now, case law supports my statement, not by conjecture, and I'm going to give one example of what I mean when I say this. The United States government is a foreign corporation with respect to a state. This is New York, reference to Merriam, 36 Northeast, 505, 141, New York, 479, affirmed, 16, SCT, 1973, 41, Lawyers Edition, 287. Here's another thing that supports my position. In the United States of America, there are two separate and distinct jurisdictions, such as being the jurisdiction of the United States within their own state boundaries, and the other being federal jurisdiction, which is the United States, which is the D.C. Corporation 10 mile square, which is limited to the District of Columbia, that the U.S. territories and federal enclaves within the states under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, Bevins versus United States, 16 United States Supreme Court 336, 1818. Now, I'm giving these legal definitions in regards to this because I want to solidify my standpoint that I don't give my own conjecture within regards to these matters. And so those agents who watch the channel, or whatever the case may be, may know that I come from a very legalistic standpoint in regards to my secured party creditorship. A canon of construction which teaches that Congress, under a contrary intent, appears is meant to apply only within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. United States versus Spellar, 338 United States, 217 at 222, 1949. The term United States in the uppercase sense may be used in any of the several senses. It may be merely the name of a sovereign occupying the position analogous to that of other sovereigns in the family of nations. It may designate the territory over which the sovereignty of the United States, ex parte, 342 United States, 652, 672 tens, or it may be the collective name of states which are united by under the Constitution. Hoover versus Allison Company versus Evac, 342 United States Supreme Court, 652, 1945. Foreign government. The government of the United States of America is distinguished from the government of the several states. Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. Foreign laws, the laws of a foreign country or sister state. Black's Laws Dictionary, 6th edition. Foreign states. Nations outside of the United States. Term may also refer to another state, i.e. a sister state. The term foreign nation should be construed to mean all nations and states other than that in which the action is brought, and hence one state of the union is foreign to another in that sense. Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition. Treasury Decision, 390-80, Volume 29, January through December 1927, pages 64 and 65, define the word includes, and including as, 1, to comprise, comprehend, or embrace, 2, to enclose within, contain, confine, but granting the word including is a term of enlargement. It is clear that it only performs that office by introducing the specific elements constituting the enlargement. It thus and thus only enlarges the otherwise more limited preceding general language. The word including is obviously used in the sense of synonyms comprising, comprehending, and embracing. So, with that all being said, these are all legal precedents, which basically set the grounds for the revocation of election, because I myself am not included in the United States as a corporation. As an individual and as a natural person, I myself am not in individual, partnership, trust, or corporation according to the legal definition. I'm an individual as far as the natural person is concerned. And I think a lot of people debate these issues, or people have so much of a hang-up in regards to their process, or in reference to how they proceed with these procedures, how they go about it. And this is the reason why on my channel I hit people with the law. I hit it with their law on regards to this subject, and that's the most helpful part. Now, people who were complaining about the actual indifference in regards to how they were supposed to actually receive knowledge in regards to this is the fruit. This is the fruit of the tree in which you need to understand your personal situation, because right now in America, during this recession, it's a tax matter. This is a tax matter. This is something this is about taxation. If you wish to uphold your economic sovereignty in regards to your character and your person, then what you need to do is know these precedents and pull yourself out from underneath that so you can save your own economic labor. Because now at a time more than any other time, it's very important. I know that because the situations that face society today, most people are disillusioned because their circumstances don't allow them to think outside the box. And unfortunately, for reasons unknown, most people's, their resolve has become dissolved, and they don't really want to be accountable in regards to learning the knowledge. You have to learn the precedents to know before yesteryear what happened yesterday applies very much today. And why I say what I say in regards to what I say is for this very simple purpose. It's for the informative, natural purpose of you learning what you need to learn about these matters. See, I know that now a lot of people have been disillusioned by these people who have been on these channels, and they've been misleading you because they've been giving you a premise and they don't give you any solid facts. I'm giving you meat. I'm giving you the facts. Now, when it comes to the facts, these are things you can't argue with because they're factual. They're presented. And these are things that I have myself under notary seal and under my own signature, my own, not under coercion or duress, have signed and actually have sent to these entities, because this is the way it works. And in the comment section underneath, in the video description, you will see a long list, of inferences in regards to the legal process, because it's too much to go right now. That would take years and years and years of useless law degrees based upon the establishment approach to educating you about what this is. To revoke your election simply means that you're basically saying that you're not liable for tax. And you're not. If you want to be, you can be. Prime example, you can fill out a 1040. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can. I'm saying if you wish to revoke your election, you would have to contact me in regards to that, and you can address the issue forthright with your own legal competence. But I'm not going to advocate that like I did yesterday. Because like I said before, people were distorting the imagery of what this is about because they were taking it for their own selfish private gain. They were also cloning videos and placing me on other channels. So I stress this a lot because the assistance I used to give yesteryear was met with an abusive processes, and that left me between a rock and a hard place. So I can't allow that to happen to me today. But what I can say is what I have done for myself as of the present. And anyone else that wants to rebut that cause, hey, I'm just letting you know. I have plenty of documented proof above any shadow of a doubt that what I'm saying is very realistic. The reason I put this video on my channel is because These are the legal precedents in which these issues have to be met in order for them to be executed. I know that most people are reaching today for the chattel rather than the chattel paper, I should say, rather than the actual fundamentals. The fundamentals are what's more important. And until people get the fundamentals, they're not ever going to get the concept of what this is all about. And that's why the times and the pressure that's from the outside makes this a lot harder today for a lot of people. I'm just going to be exemplary and use my own personal information in regards to my own life, how I did it, and how I did it years ago, to properly apply these processes in my own life. And I can actually say that these things work. You know, I don't pay taxes. I don't have to, because I legally assert the fact that I don't. That's what makes all the difference between me and a lot of other people who will come on these channels and you don't know who they are. And I think that the smoke is dissipated, because around the time I started this channel, there was a lot of craze and haze around these situations. But as you can probably see, that most of those people who pretended to be who they say they were, they're long gone now. So, long story short, I present this to you. Read inside the video description segment. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a long list of things. It's a long list, and I present the evidence. That way, you keep the adversary at bay. All right? Read this. Read the video description part twice if you have to. And also, watch this video 3 times if you have to. Some people will resonate with, some people won't. But only for those who meant for. Many are called, few are chosen. Lay y'all. Peace. And agents,